welcome to Birmingham Goes Live. I'm Holly.
Oh, and I'm Tom.
It's a new day and a brand new show, and we have so much to update you on.
On today's show, we'll be chatting to some of UOB's best sporting representatives, alongside some footage of some new projects we've got going on, weekly updates, and live music from Cordelia Gartside.
But before all that, we are joined here by Abby Griffiths. She is the women's track captain. Abby, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. How is 2015 treating you?
It's been going pretty well so far. A lot less manic than 2014.
Yeah.
But we've just come back from Boxing Doors, so the big championships in Sheffield, and we came third. So
congratulations! That's
really
impressive.
happy with that. Considering obviously the difficulties athletics have had this year with facilities and things like that. We were really chuffed to bits to still get third behind two teams who have got indoor and outdoor facilities. So you can't be too disappointed with that.
God, so I mean that's, despite the fact you don't have those facilities, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It must be a talented bunch of people. But in terms of actually training, what have you been doing to get around that obstacle?
The uni have been helpful in terms of we go to the Alexander Stadium, which is obviously a massive stadium, so it is really good for athletes to go and get that. Well, it's not really an atmosphere with no one in it, but you do get to kind of see the big tracks, train on them.
Prepare yourself more for like
yeah,
that kind of
and I mean I can't lie, it has been a challenge to kind of fit in people's training, because obviously with a club of 200 people all doing varying events, varying different kind of styles of training at different times, you know, it's a very individual sport that you need kind of all the facilities for to make it easy to run. But bearing that in mind, we've used the facilities that we do have, so we've still got a bit of straight up at the Munro, and also the strength and conditioning we do, and then the trips to the track in Birmingham. So yeah, it's worked all right, to be honest.
Well, good. I mean, obviously as captain, you've been leading all your runners through thick and thin. What are your responsibilities? It's been a bit of a different role this year without the track, and we've also had a bit of a transition year with a new head of athletics coming in, who has been absolutely fantastic, but obviously we didn't have him for the first term, which is when you've got all the new freshers, some of whom have done athletics before, some of whom haven't and have no idea what's going on. And so I guess the captain's roles have been a bit more than in previous years to kind of get the team together, get training started, and just kind of make sure people stay together in what is a team sport but is also a very individual sport. And because people have their own goals, and we have some of the top athletics people in the country here, you know, they are going to be selfish sometimes about getting on with training, so it's which they need to be, because if they're going to succeed they have to have that bit of selfishness. But it's keeping the team together, which is hard until you get to competition, and then it all kind of, it felt like it fell into place at Boxing Doors, which is good.
That's fantastic. Speaking of how difficult the captaincy has been this year, what advice would you have to people that kind of want to get into sports captaincy or want to get into these events?
It's talking to the captains that have been previously. I like networking to kind of get people who can help me at different points. And I was talking to kind of the top Bucks people, the top people at Loughborough on the weekend, and they were saying to me, for some reason captains don't really find their the person who's going to succeed after them, and don't train them up, and they were like, you always start afresh at the next kind of committee. So they were saying, which I really agree with, you need to kind of pick someone out, not be exclusive, obviously be like, oh, it's only going to be you, but find someone and kind of train them up. So what I'd say to anyone who is interested, make yourself aware to the person who's captain currently. So make yourself aware, and then kind of just make sure you're involved in the club. And actually, you don't have to be the best person at that sport. I mean, I've changed the event I do about. I'm a triple jumper now, but I was a 400 runner. I've done cross country, I've done 800s. So you don't have to be brilliant at your sport. Don't think, oh, I'm not the star of the team, I'm not the star who's always winning medals, maybe it shouldn't be me. Actually, you've just got to be a ruthless organiser and efficient. So if you think you've got those skills, then so if anyone from my class watching, come talk to me. I need someone for next year.
Well, that's fantastic advice. Thank you so much for coming to chat to us. And we'll be catching up with you a little bit later. But now we're going to have a look at a brand new video. It's called Back It Up. So let's take a look.
66%. That would be
ridiculous.
crazy. So make sure you back up your files, guys.
Yeah.
We are now joined by Will Gray, who is the captain of the men's cross-country team. Will, first question, I feel like this kind of needs to be out there. You've got an injury.
Yeah.
Do you want to just...
How did that happen?
Where am I putting it?
Shove it up on the
There
table,
it
see
is.
if you can... Yeah. How did that happen?
It's a stress fracture, which means basically just a repetitiveness of running and the stress that goes through your body.
Working too hard.
Bit of training too hard, yeah. So, yeah.
And how did you get that?
Initially it started in a race in Bulgaria where I twisted my ankle, sort of later recovered, but after training again, was just sort of running a bit uneven, overcompensating, and just the repetitiveness, just eventually just get a little crack in your bone.
Clearly very good cross-country runner though, if you can keep going on a twisted ankle. It's very impressive. So how would you say that cross-country differs from, say, track that we've just talked about?
Sort of track, I mean, they're used to running quick and they're used to running indoors, used to running...
as quick as you guys can.
Cross country, you got the mud, the rain, the winds, the hills to battle with.
The frozen ground.
Yeah, frozen ground, the snow, all conditions. You don't see sort of, it's not like Sunday football, your match gets called off every other week. Yeah, so it's just a lot more enduring, a lot more painful.
Yeah. You mentioned you got the injury in Bulgaria. Was that for a university competition? Or was it
no, that was at the European Cross Country Championships for Great Britain.
Really good.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Good Lord. European,
Yeah.
wow.
So what specific training do you guys do? Is it just sort of like a lot of distance running, or do you try and mix in some sprinting?
No, it's good to get a good balance of both. You need everything. So we're training pretty much 6 days a week, and some of the top guys will be running sort of twice a day on those sort of some of the days. So it's a lot of commitment. A mixture of long runs, short runs, quick runs, slow runs.
So how do you prepare physically for a competition like this? I mean, you must have some sort of routine to keep yourself, safe most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do sort of injury prevention wise, sort of varying from, I know a group of us, we go to yoga on a Sunday evening. So a lot of unflexible guys doing that. Just sort of strength and conditioning, just conditioning your body ready to run hard.
Wow.
It's very. What kind of advice would you give people that are possibly new to the sport and they want to give it a try?
I mean, the club, I mean, we took about 100 members to the Bucks Cross Country Champs. So that ranges from the guys who were sort of, I mean, we had 1 and 2 in that race, right down to sort of everyone can compete. So it's all of like, it doesn't really, you just sort of turn up.
Very inclusive,
Very inclusive, and just sort of have a little bit of commitment to it. The more you train, the more you train, the better you get within reason.
Don't train around an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all sounds fantastic, and obviously we'll be playing some games with you guys in a bit. But for right now, we have a lovely video that a couple of our committee members have made. Don't get too scared by the title. It's called Matt and Rob Make a Porno.
I wanna do all the things your lungs do so well. I'm gonna bed into you like a cat beds into a female. Turn you inside out and lick you like a crisp packet. You're the first and last of your kind. I wanna be every lever you pull, and those showers that shower you. Gonna pour at you like a cat pours at my wallet umbrella. Be your min and borrow more than some trivia. Sing. All hand claps, you will clap. Let me be the one. around you. Yes, I'm gonna roll around you. Like a cat rolls around, so does it my Dios. I'm gonna kiss you like the sun browns you. If you really think that you can stomach me. I want every other freckle, 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 I want every other freckle.
Well, that was some top class acting from our committee members. Well done, boys.
Fantastic.
But this is BGL, and it wouldn't be the same if we didn't play a game or two. So that is what we're going to do
if
now.
you guys are ready, we're going to start off with a game of categories. Doing the game, I'm sure you guys have played Ring of Fire. The sports teams are very much into their drinking initiations.
No.
No? Oh, you disappoint me. So anyway, we'll be giving you a sports-related category, and you pretty much go back and forth saying a sport related to that. It's got to be a sport.
Yeah.
You can't say like a type of events, sports, that kind of stuff. But you can't say
We're
like
going to
a
have
type
athletics,
of
not high jump. We need to clarify the rules here.
Wow, you're making this a lot more difficult than I.
Competitive people.
It's alright.
Yeah, we'll decide as it goes along. We can't be too harsh with it. And so the first event, sports-related thing I'm going to do is water sports. So if you want to start with Abby and then
So we can
jump
put,
between you.
I don't know, 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
30 seconds on the clock?
30 seconds on the clock or a minute?
I don't know. I figured we'd just do it until one of them can't think of
Okay. Well, you need to say as many.
water
Okay.
sports as possible,
As you can.
back and forth.
Canoeing,
Swimming,
kayaking,
sailing,
water polo.
3,
diving.
oh,
Is
1.
that banana thing on holiday count? That's not a sport, is it?
That's not a sport.
Does someone say water
the banana.
skiing?
The banana. What is that? I can't remember what it's called.
I felt I'd call that time up.
I'd call that time
Yeah,
up.
I'd call
So
time up.
Yeah, it's
1-0 to Will.
Thank you.
You want to do the next category?
Yes. Okay. The next category. Okay. The next category we have ball games.
Okay.
Okay.
Ball games.
Football,
Yeah.
Wall ball,
Ooh.
rugby,
squash,
tennis,
racquetball,
3.
rugby, the other
Two.
one.
I'll accept.
Oh yeah.
ping pong,
Ooh. He's on it. He's on it.
Oh, God.
3,
I don't know.
2, 1. No, 2-0 to Will. We'll do.
Volleyball.
There we go.
never
You got yours in the
mind.
end.
We'll do a last one so you can possibly try and
Yeah.
save face.
Yeah.
This one you both should be able to do really
Dance or
well in.
something. You wouldn't know that.
No, we're going to go with track events. You guys should know your stuff
Yeah.
on this. So
Okay.
we'll start with Will this time as the current
Okay.
champion.
It's going to be embarrassing.
So if you want to start,
100 metres,
200 metres,
400 metres,
800 metres,
1500,
400 hurdles,
3k,
5k.
10k,
It's getting intense. You guys.
On the track or marathon, is that count?
that counts.
Marathon,
Yep.
pole vault,
Yep.
Half marathon.
high jump,
3,
Long jump.
triple jump,
Shot put.
discus,
Javelin throw.
3.
shot put,
Oh, it should have been said.
Oh, but you guys did
almost
so
got.
well.
Oh, you almost won.
That was a cracking effort.
Impressive.
You almost
that
got it
was
to
great.
3-0. That would have been amazing.
Oh, can we get a? Let's
All right,
put
we'll get a round of
hands
applause.
together
Come on,
for
guys.
our
That was fantastic. They know their sports.
They know their sports indeed. Oh, we're just going to take a little break from these wonderful games. We'll be returning to you guys later. But next up, let's see what our lovely co-presenter here, Tom, has to say about our weekly update.
Come back from reading week and don't know what to do? Well, you're in luck, because we have loads of things going on in the next week. That's a bit of theatre. GMTG are putting on a production of Rent, which is loosely based on La Boheme. It follows a group of struggling artists trying to make their way in New York. Tickets are £7 for students and £12 for adults, and it's run from the 24th to the 28th of February. Also showing this week is the History Boys at the New Alexandra Theatre, with follows a group of 1980s sixth formers in their pursuit of sex, sport and a place at university. Tickets range from £11.90 to £32.40 each, running all week until Saturday. With a plethora of bars around the Alexandra Theatre, there's plenty to do. Spot of tea, anyone? Beyond Bar will be putting on a tea party from 3 till 5:30 on Thursday. For only a £2.50 donation and 50p refills, we'll be raising money for Oxfam to keep that tea flowing for a good cause. This week's also great for film lovers, as the second Birmingham Goes hotel is coming out on Thursday and Focus is coming out on Friday. Don't forget the popcorn. Or if you're more you're thinking, we have a great weekend lined up for you. Start it off on Friday at Kingshead and Harbour for some of the West Midlands' best vocalists and musicians. And it's free entry, so you'd be a fool not to. With all that money saved up, why not do something for charity? Edgbaston Cricket Ground are hosting a live 8-piece band on Saturday who will be playing a selection of soul and rhythm and bass. Tickets are £30, which include champagne, 3-course meal and a reception, and all the proceeds go to marriage curing. Had a rough week and you're soaking a funny bone? Bleach Events will be hosting their Mad Hatters Comedy Night on Saturday at the Old Joy Stock in town. Doors open at 6:30 and the performance go on at 8:30. Tickets are £10 for adults and £8 for students. That's everything we have for you for this week's weekly updates. Hopefully we've given you enough to do and not left you too out of pocket. Interesting. So, do you want to start? Shall I start? How do you want to?
Hey, I'm happy to start.
Go
so
for it.
if I'm going to select one of these, and you guys, you have to beat each other to it. You got to guess
First
what I'm
person
doing.
to shout out the sport wins.
All right.
This is going to be brilliant. This is a first for BGM.
Okay.
Right.
Are you ready?
She's
Are
in
you
the zone.
ready?
She's in the zone.
Yeah.
Skiing.
Who said that? That's you,
Will.
probably. There we go.
1-0 to Will.
1 point to Will.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Come on, Tom.
All right, I got this.
Best foot forward, guys. Focus.
Focused.
Diving.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I cannot swim, so that was my only diving ever.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go.
Ready?
I'm gonna go.
Tennis.
Oh,
Badminton. Oh, there we go.
Very good.
3-0. Right, we'll do first to 5. I feel like you.
It's
Oh, okay, all right. This is,
comprehension, not there. Oh no,
Right.
it's fine. It's fine.
right.
Okay.
Marathon.
Bam.
Ooh.
She's on it. She's back in the game.
It's your sport.
Okay. My turn.
I'm actually a little exhausted from this, not gonna lie.
Oh, it's a bit of cardio. Okay, ready?
Archery. Biathlon.
Archery.
You did it. You got it. Oh,
If you win this, you've won it 5-1. This is
the
if you
game.
can get it.
Okay.
There we go.
Ready?
What to do.
I'm in the zone.
Okay,
Right.
good. Come on, girls.
Hockey, ice hockey. Oh.
Hockey. Bam.
There you go.
She's coming back into it.
God.
Keep going.
Gotta
First to
go,
5.
go.
First to 5. Come on. We've got more. We've got so many more spots.
Okay, ready? Okay, yeah.
Horse riding.
Yeah.
She's bringing it back.
Bring them back in.
I just did a bit of sound effects. I just warming up.
All right.
Okay.
Continue.
Archery.
It's the other thing you said before, because I can't remember.
Biathlon.
4-all. This is now the
This is
decider.
the deal breaker.
Biggest comeback.
Alright.
Okay.
This is
Do you want to
actually-
do this together? I feel like this is the last one.
Quite hard.
Oh.
Oh.
No, that's quite. That's, we can do that, right?
Okay.
Fishing.
Bam.
Yay!
She's brought it back.
Take it.
4-1 down.
Back.
Abby.
Yes.
And we've got 1-all for the games. This is actually like.
This is
What's the
actually,
tiebreaker?
This is great.
What's the tiebreaker?
Okay. Oh. Should we do a tiebreaker? We'll do a
Go on then. Let's
tiebreaker.
do a tiebreaker. Go on, Tom. Go.
Okay. All right.
Go.
This is. Okay. Right. So, you ready?
Chinese whispers.
No.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Baseball.
Oh, never mind. She's good. Yeah. She's too good. We haven't even started
I
yet.
haven't even done it.
She's just that
That's
good.
amazing.
And now that's it for all the games. So we're going to check up to see what Dom and Holly got up to at the Jiu-Jitsu Society for this edition of the Society Show.
Unagi.
Hello and welcome to the Society Show. I'm Holly.
I'm Dom, and today we're here with the University of Birmingham Jiu-Jitsu Club, and we're going to learn a bit of self-defense.
I'm here with James. He is the instructor for the club. Hi James, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Well, thank you for talking to us today. Just going to ask you a couple of questions to learn more about Jiu-Jitsu in general. So first off, we've seen so many displays of physical agility. It's quite impressive. What makes jiu-jitsu different from other martial arts sports?
Well, we tend to concentrate more on self-defense, so real-world attacks, things like bottle attacks and people grabbing you around the arms, grabbing your hair, things like that. Things that might happen out on Broad Street, hopefully never, but they may. So rather than ninjas jumping down from the sky with shuriken and things like that, it's more real-world based. We're not that heavy on striking, but we do a bit of the groundwork that you saw earlier as well, so it tends to be a good mix, an overall mix.
So what would you say your favourite move is?
It's a throw called Siyatoshi, which involves grabbing an opponent and swinging them around with the momentum of their own punch. So you don't really have to do all that much, and it's quite effective when they hit the floor.
What actually makes up a class? What does it involve from start to finish?
So typically, for a beginner, it involves some very basic break falling, which is rolling and hitting the floor to make sure we look after heads and spines and backs and things. Obviously, if you damage any of those, it's no good, however much jiu-jitsu you know. We'll move on from there to some throwing, using person's momentum against them to throw them to the floor. Maybe then some arm locking and wrist locking, and some weapon defense. If it's someone with a bit more experience, so a coloured belt, for instance, then we'll go straight into the falling, nice and high tempo, get heart rates working, and then pretty much the same, so throw in, technical, bit of weapon work.
So I'm here with Sasha, who is a light blue belt member of the society. How did you get into jiu-jitsu in the first place?
I started jiu-jitsu because a friend of mine was on the committee, and he just, in second year, he just proposed that, you know, why not come along and try it out, and you can get 2 sessions for free. So he was just like, why not just come and join and see if you like it, if not, it's just a laugh. So that's how I got into it, and I've been doing it for 2.5 years now. So.
And who can come along? Is it open to everybody?
Yeah, it's open to everybody. It's adults of all ages, and there's no difference in size. So if you're small, if you're really large, it doesn't matter. And fitness levels also don't matter. So you don't have to worry about being super cardio fit or anything like that. So anyone can come along and just try it out.
So how can someone find out more about the sport and the society?
To try it out, I would suggest to actually come along to one of our sessions and just having a go. So we train Mondays and Thursdays, 8 till 10 p.m. and anyone can come along and you get 2 sessions for free. So it's a good deal, to be honest. I would suggest for everybody to try it out. But if you want to find out just any information about jiu-jitsu, just visit our page on Facebook, which is UOB Jitsu, or we also have a website, which is uobjujitsu.co.uk.
So now it's time for our little competition, boys versus girls.
It is 2-0 to the girls, and of course there can only be one winner. So we've got James here. He is going to talk us through the process and get things rolling.
Yeah. Okay, so you two are going to have a ground fight. Means you need to go back to back and pin pin the other person down with one of the ground holds that I showed you earlier. Are you nice and ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready. Right. Go.
So thank you very much to the Jiu-Jitsu Club for having us over and showing us a few good pointers.
Yeah, it's been a very entertaining evening. We've learnt a lot, but thank you for tuning in and having a look. I hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, unagi.
And now to wrap off this edition of Birmingham Goes Live, we have a fantastic performer, Cordelia Gartside. Take it away.
I feel a sadness like